Hey everyone, my name is Matt, Shay behind the camera here, and today's video is a review of our Dune Awning. So we've been travelling around Australia for, was it just over 9 months now?
Yeah.
And we've had this awning the whole time. So we've used it many more times than anyone ever would and taken it more places than most would as well. So we figured be able to give you a good rundown of our experience. We'll jump straight into it. We'll start with the mounting hardware, the mounting equipment, where it's currently fitted up to heavy duty brackets from Bush Company. Of course, we've got the Bush Company tent and we're planning to put a 270 on. So we've had to go to these heavy duty brackets. Prior to these, I had some homemade brackets. I couldn't use the L brackets that you normally get with this awning because of the rooftop tent and the way it's mounted to the canopy. So this is what we've ended up with. The hardware on the back side of it, it's hard to show you. It is a little bit smaller than I thought maybe was reasonable or would last. It's maybe M4 or M5, 4 or 5 mil bolts. And I didn't think they were going to last given the corrugations that we've been over, the Gibb, places like that. I really didn't think they were going to hold, and they have. So I'm surprised by that. I don't know if they are. They're not showing any signs of rust or anything, or too much at the moment anyway, so that's all good. The bag has held up really well. There's no signs of major fade or deterioration. It's got a normal backing plate, by the way, for the mounting, so it is easy to mount it in a lot of applications. The bag has got pretty good zips, so when you open it you don't notice anything, but when you bring it back to close, the teeth don't align perfectly, so it does get caught in a few spots. For the $100 or thereabouts that we paid for this awning, we don't really mind, it's fine. So I will put up the pricing of this and the, I guess, others on the market that you can compare with. There is a little bit of dust that has got in the bag. Again, you have to expect that for a cheaper awning, and again, not a problem for us. A bit of rust on these D-rings that are meant to be stainless, not a problem. Open it right up. Has 3 Velcro straps to hold it all in place. When we undo these, we actually fold them over. So that's a little tip maybe for you. And the reason we do that is when we roll the awning back up, these don't get caught, rolled up in the awning and then become impossible to pull out to then use to hold it back. So that was Shay's little idea, fold them over, and that way when we roll the awning back up, very little of this ever gets caught and they're easy to grab and use again. Now me, with my longer arms, I can set this up by myself, but it is normally a 2-person setup for a lot of people, and just for ease we do the same as well. I think we will, I'll pull it down so you can see something else actually. Now, the good thing about a cheaper awning is you don't have to worry about bird droppings. So we try and clean them off wherever we can, but often they end up drying before we get to them, before we pack the awning away. It's not an issue, we don't care, it's a cheaper awning. Surprisingly, no issues with mould yet, and we've used this well, for a lot now in tropical areas, packed it away wet, it's been out or being packed up all day, wet and moist, no issues there. We even left this vehicle parked up for 2 weeks at the Cairns airport, and I think this may have been wet when it was packed up, and there still wasn't really any bad issues, or no issues that I noticed with mould being present or developing, so that's good. The stitching's all pretty good. I will go into that in a little bit more detail, but while I think of it, this seam up here, and it's really noticeable for us because when this is set out, it sits above the canopy door. Water does get through part of this seam now and then pulls on the canopy door, and then very occasionally water falls over the side, sometimes onto us preparing below. So that has been a fault, but otherwise the stitching's been really impressive. I thought these straps here, the way they are used, or these Velcro straps, would give way a lot sooner than what they have. They haven't actually torn through at all, so they've been really strong, which was surprising. But we'll quickly set this up and then I'll keep talking about the rest of it. Now, another stitching item that I thought may have failed a lot sooner or at all and hasn't is these loops that you attach the ropes to. So I did think pulling down on these over time, you'd pull through the stitching here, and it hasn't. They haven't shown any signs of giving way, and I like to peg the awning down pretty well, especially where we are in Noosa at the moment. Sometimes there is a bit of strong wind, and there has been a lot of the times as we've been around the coast, there's been a lot of wind. No issues there yet. The poles are good, no problems with them being telescopic. They're not sort of starting to show any signs of being or failing there. This pole over here has bent, which was a fault of ours, or a fault of mine, where we were camped one night. I couldn't put the awning down on enough of an angle on one side, and that's an important tip. If you are using this, it's amazing how many people I see with awnings that don't do this when there's rain around. Just drop one leg and all the water can run off one corner. If you don't do that, it pulls. That happened with us here. We often hang our laundry from arm to arm. So with that weight and the water, it did bend this arm. I'm not too phased about that, and the way these are attached is just a nut and bolt. So if you had bent it up really badly, you could actually replace the whole arm, it looks like. Where you would get that part from, I don't know if Anaconda or anyone stocks those. I haven't looked into it yet. Otherwise, the ropes that you're supplied with the awning, I didn't like, and that's why we use some different straps that I personally really like. Make it really easy. They are, I think we got these from Super Cheap Auto or Repco. So it's just got that open hook on the end, and then it's a what do they call it, alligator clip or cam buckle. You just pull the strap through like that. So connect that end to the peg, the other end in the eye there, and that's a much better strap, I find, than the ropes that are supplied. I couldn't even show you the ropes that are supplied. I don't know where they've ended up amongst all of our setup. And then, of course, you are given pegs as well, but we use our own. And if you are going to get this and go down the beach, you want to get some sand pegs to actually have any chance of pegging it down. Otherwise, if you're looking at or thinking about buying this, I can say with confidence, yes, do it. It is going to be, for most people, all that you need and worth the money. We've used this, so many times, and it's definitely been worth the value. We've got a front wall for it as well, and that's been quite good. One thing I don't like about these Dune awnings is that the walls that you get just Velcro to the arms, so you can't seal yourself in very well. To some people, that's not an issue. It's not a deal breaker. But you can see sort of here where I was talking about that seam failing. You can actually see a little bit of it coming away from the canvas there. So the water does drip through that waterproofing, drip onto the door. And of course our bench is right below this corner, so if it ever water falls over, it gets a little bit wet, but it's never too bad. And I think that's pretty much it. So a bit of a scattered review. I'll put everything up on the screen, pros and cons, a few comparisons for pricing. Anything that I've forgotten to mention, I'll put in the comments. And if you have any questions, then of course, please fire away. We'd like to think we can give you pretty good feedback on it if need be. But thanks for watching, and good luck with whatever you decide to buy. Catch you later.